How's it going, everybody? Just quick reminder, if you like the video, if you enjoy the content, leave a comment, drop a like, and consider subscribing. It really does help a lot in the algorithm, and I appreciate everybody who watches my videos. Everybody have a great day. Okay, for some reason with this build I'm noticing, even with the lower IAS, Grief in the main hand is swinging faster than if I was doing weapon swing bug, which is weird because on certain other builds I've noticed that the weapon swing bug works the other way around, but for this one it's like the weapon swing bug doesn't work. So alright, so I saw this video of this guy using the Storm Lash on a Crescent, and he finished Uber Tristram and all the minis before that for the organs in like 50 seconds or something nuts like that. So I started thinking about static field. Since I'm using swords on this Barbarian, I'm going with Crescent Moon. I got some blood gloves. I could have some better ones with 10 crushing blow, but these are pretty good blood gloves. I got Whisp Projector, which goes really nice with the Crescent Moon with the negative to enemy lightning resistance when I'm casting lightning on striking with my frenzy. Then I got String of Ears for the damage reduction, Chains of Honor for the damage reduction, as well as some lifesteal since I'm not using Ariats. I got G-Face. I got High Lords on here for the deadly strike and the increased attack speed since I'm not really as fast as I could possibly be. I could potentially switch the belt out and maybe attack slightly faster when I'm like decrept and stuff like that, but I like the damage reduction and the lifesteal. Nosferatu's is good too, you could do that as well on this build. I got Ravenfrost, Goblin Toes for more crushing blow. Could go with Gore Riders, but I like Goblin Toes more for this particular build. And then I got Grief. I think Grief is really important on this build for the sake of getting better crowd control and everything like that for the trash mobs. But in terms of fighting bosses and stuff like that, for the sake of fighting bosses, the static field along with the crushing blow is kind of nuts as long as you're hitting the enemy. So I might actually benefit more from having, instead of using a Might Merc, I might actually benefit more from using, might benefit a lot more from using a Blessed Aim Mercenary so that I have more attack rating. Ooh, nice. I got a bunch of gold find items now. Now I can get like 600 or 700k every time I do a Travancore run when I gear my barb up for that. Like I'll throw on wealth armor, a bunch of other different things specific just for that. I'll never forget one of the first weeks of Diablo 2 Resurrected coming out. Some person made a game called like low rune for Call to Arms or something, and I went into the trade window and this fool put a freaking IO rune up, and he was trying to tell people that that's the way the L's look. The L's look like they're lowercase. They don't have capital letters in this game or some shit. Wait, what? What just happened? My wolves just immediately died. I don't know what that was. They're not very strong. I don't really use those very much, but they come with the ring. This does pretty decent for dealing with physical immunes. I did like having Atmos Scarab on though, because it would take out the physical immunes a whole lot faster. I need my mercenary over here. There we go. So I mean, I don't really need the Atmos. Atmos might be better actually if I want to take out Ubers like in more of like a record time or whatever, but that I might actually benefit from having a Blessed Aim Merc more on this build for the simple sake of just taking out. I do kind of like these. I do kind of like the Crescent Moon combined with Wisp Projector for crowd control on my Frenzy though. I think that is pretty good. I was actually messing around last night with the hero edited character. Using Breath of the Dying Berserker Axe with a Beast Berserker Axe, and then I was using Grief and a Berserker Axe, and it was doing pretty good, but it honestly wasn't doing very much better than my Battle.net character, and it was a level 99, which was kind of crazy to me, because you know, you would assume that the level 99 would kill way faster, and there's certain breakpoints and certain things that I've been hit, like for PVM, I really do think that swords are way better than axes. Definitely think swords are, see, these are all my charms that I have for gold finding. I think swords are way better for axes for PVM, not only because you have to repair stuff more, but you just hit so much faster with the Phase Blade than the Berserker Axe. There's so many builds that you're not able to do because of like the attack speed and everything, where it literally feels way slower. I feel like Berserker Axes are more so for PvP. Get over here, buddy. Good thing I got full rejuice for him. Look at him. He's just bathing in the Hydras. I am vibing with this Whirlwind Barb though. Whirlwind and Frenzy together are like a match made in heaven. Man, this mana drain that they do is so annoying. What? He wasn't anywhere close to me and I was getting knocked back right there. What was that? I guess that's what I get for standing right there in the decrep and all that, but whatever, we survived. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go Blessed Aim. Definitely more than likely gonna have to go Blessed Aim on this, because we could be getting a lot more out. Could be getting a lot more out of our static field. And a lot more out of our crushing blow as well. I think Blessed Aim's gonna be better, because I mean we are getting decent enough damage already from Grief. That's the same reason why I actually took Fortitude off of this build, and I could use Treachery and get a better I could use Treachery and then throw Atmoscarab on,
yes, citizen,
which could also be really cool, but at the same time I like the damage reduction, I like the lifesteal, even though it seems like I have to hit potions a fair amount. So I wound up, since I'm not using Atmos, right now, I wound up throwing Treachery back on my Merc, so the Reaper's Toll will be more effective. And then he's also got a 15 IAS jewel in the Kiras. I was using Gloom, which is actually really cool for that dim vision proc, but I think that might actually be better on a different character's mercenary, maybe like my Trapson or something, or one of my characters that I like to play cows more with, because I think that'll just be more beneficial on a different character. I'm realizing even though I'm not hitting all the max IAS breakpoints and everything, I technically could throw on this with the 2 IAS jewels in it, and I could attack with the max attack speed and everything, but at the same time I could also throw on treachery instead of this and do the same thing probably. Let me actually try that, because that might actually be better, because I used Chains of Honor previously and I don't want to sacrifice the crushing blow, so maybe treachery's the way to go. Look at that. That's the max. If I put the other helmet on, I could possibly get a little bit of a boost for when I'm decrept. But I mean, I don't really need it, honestly. Basically, all that would do is help for when there's like holy freeze around, or for when I get decrepified. But I mean, I don't want to base the whole build around that. Get over here, fool. One of my friends said, "I never see you with a mercenary." Got more attack rating than last time by a good bit. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I'm gonna swap my High Lords over to my Assassin, because I think this actually might be good. The +1 to skills, increased attack speed. I don't really think that's gonna make much of a difference with the burst of speed and everything anyways. But all the crushing blow that I have on this character, I don't really think that I need Atmosphere for taking out bosses. It's probably going to be pretty close, especially on players 1. So I'm going to put the Atmos back on my Barbarian. I think I'm also going to go a little bit less safe and go with Nosferatus. I could actually go with Razor Tail and get a little bit of damage increase or whatever, but at the same time, how much does Razor Tail increase my attack? No, I'm gonna go with Nosferatus for that slowest target. I think that's gonna be pretty decent. Alright, so we've realized I actually can't wear G-Face, otherwise I'm not gonna hit as fast. But I still have 25% crushing blow, or 30% crushing blow. So I think this is gonna be able. Alright, so throughout the video we've done some theory crafting. And I was using G-Face, but I wound up going with this because I have two 15 IAS jewels in it. Wound up going with Treachery so I can hit the max IAS with using these two while using Atmoscarab. And then I still need these two. I don't really need the belt, honestly. I could use something different for the belt, but I do like the slowest target. I could throw on String of Years if I want some damage reduction for when I get decrept or amp damaged or anything. But I kind of like the slowest target for when I'm doing the frenzies on the enemy for the sake of proccing stuff. My whole point in deciding to go for maximum IAS is because I can put Grief on the main hand. I'm going to proc my static field more often, as well as lightning, as well as chain lightning. And I'm going to proc my Atmoscarab a lot more as well too. So that's my reasoning behind deciding to change a couple of these things. I'm sacrificing some crushing blow to gain some IAS. But like I said, since I'm not doing Ubers, I don't really need the crushing blow quite as bad. Here we go, flip-flopping again. Wound up actually putting G-Face back on, just because I think it's going to be more beneficial. And honestly, the static field is not proccing that much. Just to be honest, it's not proccing that much more with that little bit faster attack speed. So I think having more crushing blow each strike or whatever, or more chance of it to be crushing blow, I think it's just going to be more beneficial. I've noticed the static field is not like, you can't depend on the static field to proc. Really, the Crescent Moon, along with the Wisp Projector, I think is more so for crowd control and stuff like that on more of the trash mobs, but you might get lucky and have static field proc against Bale. But the G-Face is going to be better against him just for taking him out quicker, I think, in addition to having Atmos and then Treachery and everything. Because even though the initial swings of the Frenzy are not going to be really fast, once it gets going, it's going to meet max breakpoint and everything like that, max speed, as long as you keep hitting. Okay, for some reason with this build I'm noticing, even with the lower IAS, Grief in the main hand is swinging faster than if I was doing Weapon Swing Bug, which is weird because on certain other builds I've noticed that the Weapon Swing Bug works the other way around, but for this one it's like the Weapon Swing Bug doesn't work, so weird. So Grief in the main hand is the way to go. This is just like an experiment with you guys getting to be part of it. Another thing I'm kind of coming to realize with all the lightning immunes and all the type of enemies that you face on the way to Bale, I think using Lawbringer to get there might actually be better. And then once you get there, swap to Crescent Moon. It's a little bit inconvenient having to swap things around and then not really having space for items and shit like that. So I mean, I could drop some charms out of my inventory or whatever, but for the sake of theory crafting and trying to get the best possible build, I'm just trying to experiment and have things kind of maxed out. I think for fighting the boss, I think just for the sake of not overriding the Atmos, I'm gonna not want to have Lawbringer. But also, I mean, somebody could say they don't mind if they have him decrept some of the times, and sometimes Atmos getting the amp damage. Personally, I'd rather have him amp damaged than decrepified for Bale. But aside from that, Lawbringer for all of these type of enemies that are on the aura, which really helps with these undead enemies, especially the ankle biters, you know, that corpse explode and take you out really fast. Another thought that I had was to take off the Griffin's Eye off of my Lightning Sorceress and try that out in conjunction with this, but I don't really think that's going to help too much more. Plus I think the Crushing Blow is more valuable to this build. Alright, right here for Bale, I'm actually going to take the Reaper's Toll off of my Mercenary so that he doesn't interrupt my amplified damage. Same reason why I'm not going to use Lawbringer. And also because that would defeat the purpose of Static Field, which I actually haven't gotten to proc against him, but I've gotten Static Field to proc plenty times against other enemies, so just kind of an RNG thing. So Atmos could have procced a lot earlier and been more beneficial, but I don't know, I think I like the build. I like it. Let me know what you guys think. It's definitely not meta or whatever, but at the same time, definitely something very doable. You know, Grief, Crescent Moon, and then Wisp Projector. And they really do, the Wisp Projector and the Crescent Moon really do work pretty good together. Once again, if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing, as well as drop a like and a comment. If you disagree with the video, drop a comment. I like to get into discussions and everything. Keep it respectful. Don't call me a fucking moron. Well, call me a moron if you feel like it. I don't really give a shit.